Welcome back, everybody. We hope you enjoyed the breakout sessions and came away with a lot of useful information. Right now, I'd like to introduce our closing keynote speaker, Anita C. Roberts.
Anita C. Roberts is a retired Army officer and combat veteran, human resource, public relations, and media maven, angel investor, and international speaker. She has over 20 years of entrepreneurial experience and exited her first company in less than 3 years. After retirement in 2008, Anita was recalled to active duty to serve on President Obama's 2008 inauguration PR team and again in 2013 as a Chief of Public Affairs in Afghanistan. In 2020, Anita founded Narrow the Gap Fund, a $25 million venture capital fund investing in women and underrepresented founders. She serves as managing partner of Silicon Hills Capital. Please welcome Anita C. Roberts.
Well, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited about talking to veterans and spouses of veterans and entrepreneurs. First of all, I'm an accidental entrepreneur, and so I'd like to just share a little bit of my journey to show you that if I can do it, anybody can do it. So just a few things about me. As I said, I'm Anita Carmichael Roberts. I was born and raised in Alabama. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a mother of 2 sons, Forrest and Austin. I'm a retired lieutenant colonel. I'm a graduate of the University of South Alabama, Prairie View A&M University, and the University of California, Haas Berkeley. I'm also a combat veteran, and I'm the founder and managing director of a 2-year-old company worth $25 million. And I sold my first company 3 years after retirement. So just to tell you a little bit about my journey, in 2008, when I originally retired, they said earlier, I was called to active duty again to serve on President Obama's inauguration committee and his team. And so there in DC it was very humbling experience being able to serve, first of all, to serve again, but also serve to the first African-American president. After that time was up, I returned home to restart my business. And in that journey, as I was going on this journey, I had no one to look to. I had no one to talk to. I'm here in Austin, Texas. I was a commander here, so not really having a community or my family is in Atlanta. So most of my family is in Atlanta. So I didn't really have that core, that system to help me. And so I really struggled for quite a while. And what I had to learn was that everything that I needed was within me. I thought, well, because I'm a woman and because I'm Black, because I'm in Austin, Texas, nobody knows me. I'm a veteran. All of these things, it was just self-defeating things. And at some point, I just, put it to paper and set out on my journey of saying, okay, this is what I want. This is what I want my company to look like. These are the type of people that I want to know my name. These are the type of people I want to sit at a table and have dinner with. And within 2 years, honestly, of making those decisions, I was, going to galas and being invited to different things. It was just an extraordinary experience. But it all starts here, honestly. It really starts with your mindset. And I had to really learn the things that, remember the things that I learned in the military is that, we're mission focused. Once we have our mission set and we set out a plan, then you just follow the plan. And I will tell you that has worked for me in every single thing that I've done. Shortly after I started my company, about 2.5 years in, I got a call from a company in Florida that was interested in purchasing my company. Being an entrepreneur and of course spending my 20 years in the military, I had no idea why someone wanted to purchase my company. So of course at first I was reluctant, didn't want to talk to them. The lawyer was saying, Anita, this is a great opportunity for you, for your family. Why not? What's stopping you? And I said, well, it's my company. Why would I, why do they want my company? And again, it's that mindset. And so once, the lawyer kind of explained, Anita, you can start a new company. And so that's exactly what I did. So I was able to sell that company and then start a new company. And with that, I actually had enough money to start a nonprofit. And with the nonprofit, what I do is I work with other Black and women-owned businesses to help them grow. Because what I saw was that there was, again, just like there was no one there for me to help me, I did not want that to happen to anyone else. And so I set out to make sure that that was not it was not a hindrance. And so I've been on this journey for about 10 years, working specifically with small businesses, specifically women and minorities. And last year during COVID, when I saw the community was struggling yet again, not receiving funding for PPP, I started to just raise money. I started getting on the phone, calling people that I knew and saying, hey, you know what, these companies are not being supported by the PPP funding. And so I was able to raise funds and was able to give grants to 25 businesses here in Central Texas. So we gave $1,000 grants to 25 small businesses here in Central Texas. And that put me on the journey to start a fund. And it has been quite the journey. I started, like I said, last year in building this company, Silicon Hills Capital. And really the goal was to fund more women and minority businesses. And I will tell you that I feel like I finally found my place. But I do have a few things that I wanted to leave with you. So I'm going to try to go through a few of those things. So sorry if I was rambling a little bit. So in order to reach your highest and best potential as an entrepreneur and as a human being, as a mother, as a father, as a soldier, sailor, Marine, dependent spouse, whatever, you have to expect to fail, and you have to expect to fail forward. You cannot be afraid to fail. And I think that failure is a good thing. Failing forward means learning from our setbacks and making the necessary adjustments to move on and succeed. We have to understand that failure is not real. It's really what God is showing us, that we need to go in another direction. Just like when I first got out of the military and came back home, for quite a while, I thought I wanted to go into television. I thought that was my journey. That's where I'm supposed to go. And so that's the mission that I was on. And so I ended up at a television station in Waco doing being a reporter there, and woke up one morning and said, this is not what I want to do for the rest of my life. But for all of those years in the military, my mindset was, I'm going to get out and I'm going to become a television reporter. And once I got there, that was not what I wanted to do. And so I pivoted easy, and once I pivoted, that's when I started that company. And I will tell you that once, I'm a believer in God, and I believe that, once He puts that seed of what you're supposed to do in your mind, He will not only give you the vision, but He'll give you the provision. And so that's what happened for me. So once I got it out of my head that I was supposed to be a television reporter, and just went ahead and sat down and said, okay, God, lead me in the direction you want me to go, and started that first company, everything just starts to click. And so that's when you really know that you're doing God's work. You're doing the work that you're supposed to do. You're living your purpose. And so this is really it's been a journey for me. And I look back, in 2008 when I first started, and to now where I'm running a $25 million company, and it was all the path. But of course, for me, I went off that path for a little bit when I decided to become a television reporter. And but I easily, like I said, I made the adjustment quickly. I listened to the signs that, even though this was good and I loved my job, I love the ability to go out and tell stories and share stories every single day, but it was not filling my heart's desire. And so once like I said, I did the pivot, and I started the entrepreneurship journey, which honestly, I never, ever intended to do in my life, because I worked for Uncle Sam for 20 plus years. So I liked a steady paycheck. And so entrepreneurship did not appeal to me. But once I set that ball into motion, again, the doors started to open. The people that I needed to talk to, everything just kind of set itself up. And I will tell you, it doesn't mean that you don't have fails, right? Because again, and I think she shared that I actually, I went to Afghanistan and served in Afghanistan. And so when I came back from Afghanistan, you talk about a bunch of failures. It was what I call my season of loss. I lost my mother to cancer. She had multiple myeloma and she passed away. I lost my home. I lost my financial security. I lost my, the person I was in, the love of my life, I thought. And so all of these losses, again, I'm trying to find, what is the positive in all of this? What is it that I'm supposed to be learning? Because again, 2008, everything just worked. Everything just kind of flowed. And again, it was me, I believe, on the wrong journey. And once I took an inventory of myself, of where I was and where I was supposed to be, then that's when I started to listen to what it was that I felt like God was telling me to do. And it was to tell more stories. And it was to use the gifts that God has given me to share with my community. And so I immediately pivoted and started, well, don't get it twisted. Immediate means 3 years. I spent 3 years of really just trying to figure out what it was that I was supposed to do, because there was just so much loss. But honestly, once I got it, it was the doors open. I mean, I went from all of those losses to walking into a company where I just wanted to say hello, and the person asked me if I wanted to go and say hello to the president, because they had a new president. I walked in and was speaking with him, and he asked what I was working on. And of course, when when opportunity presents itself, you have to be ready for the opportunity. And just so happened, I had my media kit and shared with him a project that I was working on. And before I knew it, and just me stopping by to say hello to a friend, I had a $20,000 contract. So again, it opens itself up. Once you are walking on the journey that you're supposed to be on, things are going to open up to you completely. And I truly believe that. So again, failure is not really, I don't believe failure is there to hurt you. I believe failure is there to show you that you're not going in the right direction. And if you listen to that and not stay, it's like, they say when one door closes, don't continue to sit there and knock on that door, go to the other door, because there is another door that you will be for you, for sure. Failure, again, is there to point you into another direction, sometimes the right direction. And for most of us, life is not going to be easy. We're going to face challenges, but it's how we perceive those challenges and respond to those challenges. That really will set you apart. And again, just remember that failure is not final. I know for me, struggling with, PTSD, I also experienced a sexual assault when I was in Afghanistan. And so all of those things were devastating for me. And it took me a while. It took me 3 years, honestly, to get up off the floor and say, okay, God, what is it that you want me to do? And once I recognized that this is that there was a purpose for the pain, that's when I was able to use the pain, go and start working with other people who honestly, when you're hurting, if you go and you talk to people who are in need, that's when you really will see that that there's other things out there, to do. And so I volunteered at my church. I worked a lot, with other women, and my problems didn't seem as big when you hear other people's problems about not being able to feed their children, or being assaulted or being battered, and just different things. And so again, the way out when you're feeling like life has got you down, it's really to serve other people. Go and serve other people, and it will get your mind off of yourself. And that's in those moments of struggle and stress and strain for me. When I found my way out, it was because I worked with other people who didn't, they didn't want anything from me. It was really me trying to give to them, trying to give up my time and my talents to help them. And it really, like I said, it allows you to kind of take a step back and not think so much about your own problems, but it really makes you be grateful for where you are and what you still have to do. You know, I'm 51 years old right now, and I feel like, you know, my life is so full. There's so many things that I want to do, and I will tell you that do not believe the hype. You know, if you're 30, you're 40, you're 50, you can start a new job, you can start a new career, you can start a new company. And if you have a company idea, you know, please, you know, if that's something that when you wake up in the morning, that's all you think about, that's what you're supposed to be doing. And that's what you really need to buckle down and work to do. So just a few more tips. Remember that, like I said, failure is not final. When life gets you turned upside down, just know that it's God giving you a second chance at something else. Use all the tools you have available. Again, you know, I had nothing, and I built this company with nothing. And so, but the grace of God, obviously, it was definitely not me. But what I had to learn also was that it was the gifts that I had. It was not anything that other people had. You know, it wasn't my friends this or that. It was the gifts that I had. So once I start to really hone in on my gifts and share my gifts, it was, you know, there's a Bible scripture that says your gifts will make room for you. And I can definitely attest to that. That's exactly what has happened for me. So, and again, you know, don't make permanent decisions on temporary problems, because a lot of times when we go through lots of just turmoil in our lives, we believe that it's never going to change. It's never going to get better, but it really does. And you know, time does heal. It really does. So lastly, I'd just like to say, you know, you're the master of your own fate. You're the captain of your own ship. Whether you're successful or not, you're right. It's all up here. It really is all up here. If you truly believe that you can be successful, because I know for me, I see my success before it happens. But you have to prepare for it, obviously. And just remember, as an entrepreneur, there is something that God has put into your heart. He's put into your mind, and whatever that is, the world is waiting for it. And I pray that you will really get just hunker down and develop that out and really show the world that you have something to give and to offer our community. Again, I believe that your best days are ahead. I believe in you guys, because honestly, I am you. You know, we have to, you know, we come from a place where it's like we belong, right? I mean, I felt like I belonged in the military. Every day I got to wear the same thing. I didn't have to worry about what to wear, you know, and then you come out into the civilian sector, and then it's totally different. It's a totally different world. And so we have to adjust and make that correction and keep moving on. And so again, I thank you for the opportunity to just share a few things about my journey with you. And of course, please look me up on LinkedIn. I would love to talk to anyone if you're looking to be an entrepreneur and you want some tips, or if there's people that you want to talk to and maybe I'm connected to them, I'd be more than happy to connect you and help you in however I can. And again, thank you all for just for listening to my journey just for a little bit. Thank you so much.
Anita, thank you so much for sharing not only your tips, but probably even more for just sharing your story and your journey. I know I personally found it incredibly inspiring. You are an amazing person. For the rest of the audience, thank you for attending our Mission Innovation Summit. This concludes our event. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel now so that you'll know when the recordings of our sessions from today are ready. The link will be in the chat. Also, stay tuned for our Institute fall event schedule, and it'll be available on our website at innovation.utdallas.edu. Thank you all again so much. Enjoy the rest of your week.